Welcome to Procorem. After receiving your login credentials and you access your secure portal, you will by default enter into the home page where you will see your personalized activity feed. Here you will see all of the most recent activity that's happened in Procorem since your last visit. Next to activity feed, you'll see the option to view all of your pending items. Along the far left side of the screen, you'll see navigation options on this home screen. We just covered My Activity Feed. My Calendar provides you a visual of pending tasks, due dates, and reminders. My Tasks provides you a view of all of your assigned tasks. We'll cover tasks in a bit. My Account, for the vast majority, will simply show OHCS as the account you have access to. Other accounts might appear, for example, for developers who have projects in other states. Lastly, My Favorites will show you each WorkCenter you've favorited. We'll show you how to favorite your WorkCenters. Below these navigation options, we see Recent. Here you'll see names of WorkCenters you've accessed most recently per account. The last button here is Go to Account. This dials more specifically into the OHCS account, and much of the information here will be similar to the home view. If we click on the OHCS account, here we can see a list of WorkCenters you have access to. The navigation pane on the left-hand side has slightly changed. Here we can access materials across all your projects categorized by account files, posts, tasks, calendar, and activity. Now let's navigate into a project WorkCenter. We have many ways to do so. For example, we can click into a WorkCenter from the Account WorkCenters navigation, but I'd like to navigate to a WorkCenter by demonstrating the search bar. Type the name of the project you're looking for, and it'll show you your matches to that search. The search pulled up our project, but it can also identify files, tasks, and posts that contain the same keyword. Now, before we click into the WorkCenter, I want to explain the information we see here. Along the top is the name of our WorkCenter, which is also the name of the project. The left icon tells us how many files are inside this WorkCenter. The check mark indicates how many tasks are assigned to this project. And the speech bubbles show us the number of responses and conversation that has taken place in this project. On the right hand, we see an activity update. This project hasn't had an update for 12 minutes. Let's go ahead and we'll enter this WorkCenter. This is the default view of your WorkCenter. I'll go over all of these elements on this page in roughly top left to bottom right. On the top left, the 3 lines is a view option to collapse the navigation pane. You can click the Procorem logo and that will take you back to home, where we first started this training. If you click on the back arrow here, it'll take you back to the account page. That's the last page we were on before coming into this WorkCenter. The navigation across the top here is called Breadcrumbs. For demonstration, I'll click into a couple of folders. Across the top, we've laid a few more breadcrumbs to find our way back out. You can click on these breadcrumbs to navigate. An item of note, these breadcrumbs are only demonstrated inside the WorkCenters themselves. So if I go to the account or back to home, I'll lose that navigation. That's just an FYI. Sometimes that can be frustrating because folks look for those if they back out too far. So here we are back in training demo. Click on OHCS again. I'll lose those breadcrumbs. Here we are in the OHCS account WorkCenters. If I click backward, I'll go back to the training demo just as we were. So these breadcrumbs are really functional inside WorkCenters. Here we have OHCS's logo. We can click on this and it'll take us back to the OHCS account. Right now, we have an account-wide announcement that appears across the top of every WorkCenter. We can close this out by clicking on the X in the top right corner. Right here on the main page, by default, we see files. Within the files, we're able to sort these. We can filter these files in a number of ways that helps us see the information that we're trying to look for or would like to see in a particular order. Here you'll have access to upload files. Typically, we would not upload files to this main directory. This main directory is for high-level navigation. So for example, I'll click into Impact Assessment, and here we have a number of files we might prescribe for where to upload submission files. If I click on Upload Files, it'll take us into the Upload menu window. You can drag and drop files. You can choose from your computer. OHCS at this time does not require or ask for any specific status or type be selected. You can add a description of the file that you're uploading, and you can leave a comment. When you're done and ready, you can click Upload, and that'll add a file to that folder. So now we'll return. Across the right-hand side, these are all of the collaborators within this space. These might be OHCS staff. They might be other folks within your organization. Whoever it is that's invited to work in this workspace, we will see them on the right-hand side as a collaborator. Right now I'm logged in as the application team. If I open this up, here I can see what my role in this WorkCenter is. I'm an ARH external sponsor. And then here we have a couple of options for email preferences. You can receive immediate emails anytime something happens in this WorkCenter, or you can request to only have a daily digest. The only caveat to this is if you are directly assigned a task, you will receive updates about the progress of those tasks as they take place. Let me take a look at another person. If I go down to Edward Brown, I can look at my information. We can see my title within OHCS. Here's my contact information. A connection to this WorkCenter is that I'm a WorkCenter owner. I'm going to go and click on Kimberly. Her role in this WorkCenter is an applications analyst. In the top black navigation bar, we still have the same search feature that's always available. And off to the right is my own profile information. Here I can update information about myself, add a profile picture, update contact information, and other options. Here I can see invites to other WorkCenters, and I have preferences that I can change. Here's a help page through Procorem, and we can log out of this WorkCenter. Now along the left-hand side, beneath Files, we can head into Posts. OHCF staff and sponsors can create a dialogue here about the project. Next, we'll click on Tasks. Within the Tasks view, we can view tasks in a number of ways, such as by assignee or due date. By default, we see tasks organized by group. Here we can see the impact assessment tasks, financial eligibility tasks, and our commitment step tasks. If I open up impact assessment, quite a few of these are hidden. If I click on show completed, this will open up all of the tasks that I've already completed. Here we can see that they've been marked as completed and approved. I have the option to hide details, which creates a more condensed view of tasks. And Task Overview will open up a new window for us to give us a report out of the current status of tasks. Let's review the information that we see here in this task view. Over on the left-hand side, we can see a check mark and a thumb. Anyone who's designated as an assignee to a task is able to check a task as completed. Anyone who is an approver for the task is able to click on the thumbs up button. Typically, external sponsors and developers will be assigned to tasks for marking them as completed. Once you've marked it as complete, you can see you get the nice notification across the top. And here you can see a list of who's been assigned and who's the approvers for each of these tasks. The very top line, we have the task title. This little clock diagram shows that we have one reminder for this task, and we have one file associated with this task. On the third line, we can see that that reminder is showing us that this task is due in 7 days and is pending approval now that it's been marked. If I uncheck this, it'll show that it's pending assignee's completion. This tells us that it has one document that's associated with this task. And we can see that this task was created 10 days ago by our own Daniel Miller. If I'm not already assigned to this task and I'd like to follow the progress of this task, I can click this button here and this will make me a follower. You'll notice that it also created a new icon here. It shows that there's one follower for this task. Let's click inside this task and get some more information. Right away, we have a navigation bar across the top. I'll go through the items in the main navigation area first. First, we have the task title, just as we saw it before, Standard Affirmative Fair Housing Marketing Plan. The status for this project is pending approval, since I've marked it as finished. If I unmark it, it'll change that status again back to pending assignees. Beneath that, and as we can see down here under the assigned to category, there are 3 assignees, and none of them have marked this task as completed. And there are 2 approvers listed as able to approve this task. We can see the task grouping, that this is part of the Impact Assessment Task Group. We have a description for this task. I can grab this bottom right corner and I can expand this so I can read this more easily, especially if there's a longer description for this task. The description will provide information about the task and how to complete it successfully. The location portion is instructions for where we would like to see the deliverable for this task submitted. So here we see Impact Assessment, Supplemental Documents. Let me head over there real quick, show you where that's at. Impact Assessment / Supplemental Documents. If I go to Files, here we have Impact Assessment. And inside of Impact Assessment, Supplemental Documents. And that's how we can successfully upload the required document for that task. Let's return to that task. Tasks can be assigned a start date and a due date. Here under Assigned To, this is where OHCS staff will assign external sponsors to complete tasks. Then we get under Approvals, where we will designate staff to be a level of approval. And lastly, we have Followers. If you'd like, you can click here to follow this task. And then these last two items are options for OHCS staff to have functionality on our back end. Running back to the top of this task, we have additional items that we can review. OHCS staff during evaluation of applications will provide feedback here. Under Reminders, we can see that this task is due in 7 days. Under Files, we can see associated files for this task. Because this is the Affirmative Fair Housing Marketing Plan task, here we've provided a link directly to the Affirmative Fair Housing Marketing form. And lastly, under Activities, we can see everything that's been done with this task and relate back to its history. Over on the right-hand side, we can return to tasks this way, or we can click back to tasks here. Let's move on to our calendar. Now that we've reviewed tasks and we can see how they can be assigned, now we can see under the calendar how in 7 days the Affirmative Fair Housing Marketing Plan is due. A nice feature of the calendar is we can click on this item on the calendar and that will take us directly into this task. The calendar can be viewed by month, by week, or day. Similar to the activity under a specific task, we'll see activity for the entire WorkCenter, including all tasks, uploads, files, and changes. The last 4 items do not pertain to most WorkCenters. Down here is where you can favorite this WorkCenter. If I click on this, it'll make it easier for me to find in the future when I'm on the home window and I'm able to see my favorite WorkCenters. This concludes the Procorem training from OHCS. If you have any questions, please reach out to the applications team for support. I'm Ed Brown, and I was happy to provide this training for you today.